And we're recording. Alright, hello and welcome to the AfterParty, Conversations with Spy Party Players. Today I'm joined by gun0m.
Hello.
Hello. So we tried doing this yesterday, but there were some technical problems, so we're doing it today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, cool. So, you've been in the beta community for quite a long time, but have sort of been, like, you were there very early on, and then you sort of away for a bit, and now you're back. Is that right?
Yeah, I checked the date. I actually bought the game on December 27th of 2012,
Whoa.
which is quite a while, yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, and yes, I think the longer I've played was when I started playing. I played like for 6 months. I was streaming a lot, and then I was on and off just because my schedule was just shit, so I couldn't play really. And now I'm back in college, so I have a lot of times.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Cool. All right. So was it j just because of the like schedules changing that that you'd come back, or was it also like sort of f feeling in the mood again to play? Because I know it's been a discussion for some people of like burning out after playing so much and then just going, oh, I just want a break from this, and then coming back later. Like R7 had been talking about that.
I didn't really never really intend to take a break. It just happened. But after a couple of months, I will see the icon on my desktop of Spy Party. I'm like, I didn't play a long time. I think I hate that game. Let me play a game or two. And I play, and an hour after, I'm like, why did I ever stop playing this game? It's so awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah, sometimes you get a bit tired of always doing the same thing.
Routine.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta change it up.
Yeah,
Streaming
totally.
was a good thing for that.
For trying different things.
Yeah, well, you can, but because when you're always playing with it just one to one, it can get like a bit too serious. You get too meta and
Mm.
with the strategy and all. So when you stream, it's really more funny, I guess, because you have to be funny or entertaining or
Yeah, yeah.
communicate with people. So it change the mood sometimes.
Mm. I actually kind of find that in regular games with people that just because the game's so tense, there will be a lot of like light-heartedness to the conversation. Like people will want to make jokes just to help relieve the tension.
Well, I mean, we're playing a game where you try to kill someone really intensely, so
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
make a
it
joke
is.
about that.
Lots of morbid jokes to be made. So yeah, what like where did you hear about Spy Party? What made you want to play it in the first place?
Okay, so first time I heard about that game, it was on Twitch. It was a night, and I was at college, so I had nothing to do because who does their homework? And I was going through Twitch, and I was um, going through the list of games, and I went to the very, very bottom of the list of games, and I saw the little picture, like a spy party. I'm like, spy party? What is that? Is party with spies? That sounds awesome. Let me check that out. And so I went, and I think it was Slappy Davis, the first stream I saw, and I just start asking questions because it's such a complicated game to get at first. And I don't know, I wanted to play so much, so
Cool.
yeah.
That's interesting. It is a nice title, isn't it? It says just enough about it. It's like, oh, this is Spy at a Party. That sounds interesting.
Who doesn't want a party with spies? I mean, come on.
Yeah, Spies and Party. It's a match made in heaven. Cool. So yeah, was it tough learning to play the game? Because as you said, there's a lot of rules, like a lot.
Well, I think I had an advantage because I watched people streaming it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I could really play the game. So
Mm.
I had a lot of stuff that I know already, like it's strategies from players that were better than just novice. So it wasn't that hard. It's just practicing and getting to the mindset of watching everything that's happening in front of you.
Mm. The like muscle memory sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
tracking down where's the EMBA, what you did, where are the DA, where the flirt person is.
Mm.
It's hard to learn.
Was that before? replays were in when you joined?
Yes, before
It was
replays, before the new art, before
before
all the
fingerprint.
new, yeah, before fingerprint, before the list.
Wow, lot of stuff. Yeah, because I feel like that's something where um a lot of sort of high level players have made this observation because they've been around so long that people who um, started before replays learnt at a much slower rate than people who joined once replays were in. Like once replays were in, people were able to observe so much stuff really quickly about how they were playing,
Yeah,
and so
maybe that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
and and so it kind of seems like maybe it's similar for people watching streams, like being able to watch other people play. You get that same thing where you get to see all these decisions people are making without having to
Yeah.
lose games yourself.
No, well, I think watching stream is really kind of important when you want to get better at this game because it's just learning new strategies that people have developed and a mistake that they're making that you're not going to make. And but it's more important for the strategies because it's hard to develop strategies on your own, especially when you're so concentrated on the game to do something. You don't have the time to think and to analyze like everything that's happening and what you could do. You just like, am I gonna do now? Not
Hmm.
thinking about all the possibilities that are there.
Yeah, you kind of like over time once you practice a lot, you kind of flatten a lot of different situations. Like if you've played a lot of games, then you've seen a lot of situations, so you have a lot of different ideas about what to do when different things happen. Like, oh, okay, I know when there's lots of people in the conversation and the double agent's there, that's a good time um, to do the banana bread. Or I know like, oh, if there's like people over on the other side of the party doing things, then that's a good time to do transfer because the sniper's going to be distracted. Like all these sort of um, very
Yeah,
specific ideas.
yeah. It's all you have to learn. You have just to learn and remember stuff like when the game starts. You just have to instantly realize, is everybody at the window? Maybe I can add time. Is everybody in conversation? Maybe I can rush banana bread or something. Am I in front of statue? Can I swap? It's it's like you have half a second to make a decision on what
Hmm.
is the first thing you're gonna do, and it's just practice to
Yeah.
analyze that fast.
So when you were because you said there'd sort of been this gap where you were playing back in 2012, and there was a gap, and now you sort of come back. Have you noticed like a difference in how many people there are online? Like, does it seem like more now, or does it feel like about the same whenever you're on to play?
I feel it's always the same. There's always like five, six people at night. There's like two people during the day. It's always the same. It's not the same people, but it's always the same number. Um, maybe when there's a new update or something, there's a lot of people, but it's it's pretty constant, I feel. I didn't really realize much change in the number of players.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Hmm.
I mean, there's the old player where that are always there, like
Yeah.
Casey and part of the furniture or something.
Yeah, I think zero TKA is referred to as being
Yep,
being
yep.
part of the furniture because he's
the
always there.
the first week I began to play the game, he was already part of the furniture, so he's always been there, will always be.
This comfy zero, who put this there? Yeah, wait, but you moved, didn't you, or were you always living in Canada?
I always lived in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you'd moved from a different time zone. So I thought, oh, maybe there'd be like a difference of like people on it at set times. Okay, so you
No.
were West Canada.
But at some point I was going at school at night, so I was more there during the day, so I could play more during the day. And just as now, I'm going to school only in the morning, so in the afternoon I still can be online. My schedule has been really messed up for the last like 2 years, so I've been online in really different times,
Hmm.
and so I would play against European people or just American or stay at 3 in the morning so I can watch gun0m's play because he's streaming so late for me.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, I wonder what his schedule like. I did an interview with him and I didn't ask like why is it that you always play at midnight? Like what's up with that?
I don't know how he does that. And I've tried to catch his stream, but right now I'm waking up at 5 in the morning to go to school, and that's just impossible for me to stay up until 3 in the morning to watch him. And I'm
Yeah,
just really glad about
he
that.
was. You can always catch the recording.
Yeah, well, there's something about stream that I'm not able to watch the recording of it. Only if it's something I really want to see, like a game I really want to see or sort of person play and they've played it before. But otherwise, I cannot watch streams.
Yeah. So you're like not the sort of person who would stay up in the middle of the night to watch the like FIFA Cup or something.
No.
No.
No. I have a problem too with sports I cannot watch online. So anything like sport and e-sport that you have the commentary, but it's not the commentary of the people who are playing the thing, I don't get that. I cannot. If I want some commentary, I want the commentary of the person who's playing the game, not some person who doesn't know what they're talking about or what's happening. It's just something with me, and so I cannot watch things with commentaries on them.
Okay. I actually find that quite entertaining. Like I know Toboshi and Warning Track do that occasionally, where they'll do commentary of games that people have played, and I find those entertaining because it's kind of fun to see them trying to figure out what a player was thinking because they're obviously not playing the game. To be like, why the heck did they do this? And well, what did they see over there?
Yeah, I can see that being funny, but I don't know.
No, nothing. All right, cool. So yeah, you were saying that since you've come in, Purloin and Fingerprint, you've had to start getting used to. Like, has it been weird getting used to Fingerprint? Because that's quite a different mission from.
I have not been used to Fingerprint. I've played like 3 or 4 matches with it, and I think it was against you, and I forget about it. I just forget about it. That and Purloin, like half of the time, I'm like, oh damn, I didn't watch that list, and now it's gone, and now everybody has a drink. What am I gonna do?
Well, it's going to get even weirder with have you heard about this new map that's coming out soon called Pub?
I've heard about it. I know nothing about it though.
Okay, so it's going to make Purloin even weirder. So there's a pub, and Toby is a bartender.
Ooh.
And so he's got the guest list in his pocket, and what he does is people will come up and order a drink, and he'll give out drinks in order of whoever ordered a drink first. And whenever he puts a drink out, he puts the drink out, and then he puts out the guest list. And you can either take the guest list when you take the drink, and then it fades away, or you can defer taking the guest list, and then what you have to do. So Toby will take the guest list and put it back in his pocket. Then what you do is you go out to a conversation and you then tell the person closest to you to go and get the guest list. So then they'll order a drink and the guest list will disappear when they take it, which is very complicated. So you have to learn old Purloin and this new Purloin both now. So have fun with that.
I have a headache, I think. Oh my god. But that sounds so weird, like, that doesn't seems logical, like, here's your drink, look at what I have in my pocket, okay, you have seen it, now I'm gonna put it back in my pocket, here, you want a drink? Here, look, I have a list. It's just every time, I don't know.
Yeah, it certainly the like fictional logic of that is questionable, but I know it seems like a fun idea because now it's giving the spy a bit of control of who is going to take the guest list, whereas with taking the guest list off the waiter's tray, if you were to green Purloin it and you reject a drink, and then the next person who takes it, if that's like the ambassador or a suspected double agent who takes the drink, then suddenly it's like, well, that didn't work. Now the sniper definitely knows who took the guest list.
Yeah, I don't know with who I've talked about this, but imagine if you could tell somebody else to banana bread.
Huh.
What the spy fictionally, what the spy would say to the person, like, hey, I want you in 5 minutes to go in that conversation and just scream banana bread. I'll give you $5. Here you go. Go do it.
Well, maybe you could only ask that of people who've had a lot to drink.
Oh, I like that. It's like you have to watch who has
Who,
drink a lot or
who,
not,
who's
and
been
then you
drinking? It's
go.
like, that person's really intoxicated. They would totally yell at banana bread if I asked them to.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Actually, that'd be great because then you could use the tell someone else to purloin the guest list to get them drunk, to then tell them to banana bread.
You have like to pay drinks and you have a budget, so either you get somebody really drunk and then they purloin for you, or you drunk up your flirt, so it's just easier to flirt with them,
Yeah,
budget.
they like start coming towards you because you've been buying them drinks. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, flirt with me again, totally.
You just go to Toby and you're like, hey, give that girl a drink, come
I'm glad this is being recorded. These sound like good ideas.
on. Yeah, sure.
Cool. But yeah, so um, fingerprint, like, does it feel like something you can do confidently now, or are you still like, I want to stay the hell away from that?
I'm I want to try it, but every time it happens in the game, I forget about it when I'm a spy, and then Toby come to me and offers me a drink, and I have like so many options. I'm like, oh my god, I can fingerprint that drink. I didn't remember. Wow. And then it's like just too late in the game for me to do that mission anyway. But yeah, I have to. It's hard. I have to try to do it. It's hard because before touching the briefcase was useless. Was just so you seem more AI. But now it has a use, and so now I'm scared. I was always scared of a briefcase, but now it's important, so I have to touch it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and there's lots of particular ways that AIs will pick up and put down the briefcase that's tricky to execute, that's tricky
I
to do.
remember, yeah, I remember days where I would just open a spy party in practice mode. I would add like infinite time, and I'm in the sniper position, and I would just watch the AI go around, just so I could watch how people pick up the briefcase and return it.
Mm.
So like 10, 15 minutes of watching that while listening to something, just, oh, I stop that or not. It's, I think it's a good thing to do that if you want to really get
Yeah.
good at the game. Just watch, practice. You put yourself in a sniper, you just watch the AI walk around, do their thing.
Mm. I think that's really important too with the new art to spend some time just watching characters talk so that you know what it looks like because there's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of different talk animations now, so it's really tricky to know when they're talking.
with the new art, I have no idea when somebody is bugging. I have no idea when somebody's talking. I don't know what their rest position is anymore. I'm just like, that's pretty, but it's not. Everybody has a different animation. I'm lost. I have to learn this now.
Yeah, it's Verifo made an interesting suggestion. He was complaining he thinks the talk animations for new art characters are too subtle. So he's suggesting is you have everyone's talk animations have these like three distinct poses. So there's like a beginning pose that sort of shows that a talk animation's beginning. There's a middle pose and an end pose, so that people can like glimpse over and say, oh, that person's at the beginning of their talk animation, or oh, that person is ending their talk animation, just to make it like easier to see.
Yeah, that would be good because some of those animations are really subtle and you don't even know if they're just moving around or they're actually talking. They're just, especially when you're a sniper and you're far away and there's something in your way, it's impossible. You just heard a banana bread, you turn around to see, and well, I don't know if he's talking, we just drink, or what he's doing.
Yeah. No, it's tricky. Do you find it also tricky to catch people doing things like breaking animations, like putting the statue down from not the rest pose because that'll like snap the animation, or people like taking a sip of their drink when they're not at the rest pose. Like, does that also feel tricky to see in new art, or can you see that?
I haven't been looking for that at all in my games. I remember back in the days, oh my god, back in the days, I used to watch a lot in the conversation when somebody would break an animation, when they would get their drinks, and I don't even remember what are the rules of the AI anymore when they do stuff. But no, I haven't paid attention. It's crazy the more stuff I forgot about this game. Little subtle things that I just don't remember. Because it's so much information, so much behavior that you have to remember to have the back in your mind because there are so many possibilities of what can happen. I have to go and just watch AI move around.
Yeah, that's a tricky challenge. I hadn't thought of that. If you spend time away from the game, suddenly you have to relearn a whole bunch of stuff. That I hadn't thought of would be quite a lot of work.
Well, work is. I don't think it would be as hard as the first time I learned those things. It's just to go and remind myself of it.
But then on top of that, you've got new stuff to learn, so that makes it harder.
Yes. I don't even know. Give
I
me
will
a
say,
month.
yeah, I will say your point about fingerprint of like, oh, I totally keep forgetting that like where the ambassador's been or whatnot. That still happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of players of just forgetting about fingerprint.
I just forget about the mission altogether,
Mm.
and I'll be sniper, and then I'm like, oh damn, did shit.
Mm. Yeah,
Wait a minute.
like looking at someone going to a bookshelf, and I'm like, was the ambassador there? I have no idea. I haven't been watching that at all. And then you're like, oh dear. So yeah, fingerprint's hard. Do you find Seduce tricky to use, like the new Seduce? Because since you came back, I'm assuming that's new as well. The change to Seduce target.
Yes, I know that something changed, and I'm not even sure what it is.
Oh, okay. So the changes. Do you know what Twitch floating was?
When you went out of conversation, back in the conversation to flirt again.
Yeah, where
Yeah,
people would be on like the edge of the conversation, they'd wait for
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
sniper to look away. Yeah. So Chris Hecker thought that was a problem and that he wanted to fix. So the way it works now is that when you flirt with somebody, just underneath the flirt meter, there'll be this other little meter that ticks down. So so you can't flirt again until that runs out.
Alright.
But so you know how you get more of a flirt if you're like close to the person than if you're further
Yeah.
away. Um, so it'll tick down much faster the further away you are from the person. If you're like right next to them in conversation, it'll take like 45 seconds if you just stay there to tick down for you to flirt again. So it doesn't force you to leave conversation to flirt again, but it is sort of pushing you to. So you're like pushed to leave and then come back, but you don't have to. And so that's sort of the fix idea for Twitch flirting.
I always knew that something changed, but it appears when I would in a moment when I just come back like for a week to play the game and then I went back again to do something else in my life. So I just never really look into it.
Okay. Wait, so then were you still like able to flirt without knowing that?
Well, I was knowing that they were buffering of some sort, but I didn't know like the specific of it.
Okay. But you were still able to complete the mission?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was flirting.
But did you finish flirting is the question.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Because that is one tricky thing about the new implementation is it takes like twice the time to explain to somebody than the old flirt of like, oh, okay, you like get close to the person, talk, and there's an action test, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, cool. Oh, and there's another meter immediately below that meter, and they're like,
It's
what are you
just like in real
serious?
life.
I don't know what meters you're seeing in real life.
It's hard.
It's so hard to
People
flirt.
talking.
Uh,
I know, right?
but yeah, it's like, are you able to catch people seducing? Because that's something I find really hard is watching people flirting.
I usually just forget about it unless I really need it to find who's the spy, but most of the time I just cannot. I don't know. Usually it's more if people are following each other to the windows. But in
Okay.
conversation, like who's close to who, I usually am just blind to that.
Mm.
I find it really hard.
Yeah, it's I think Chris is going to try some different things. Like he's going to try adding um, talking at windows and paintings so that you can sort of tell if someone is flirting or not, like have a bit of a better idea. So maybe things like that'll help. Does that seem like a problem to you that seduce is hard to catch, or do you think it's okay that for the sniper it's something that's hard to see?
I don't think it's a problem because on it's a problem on bigger maps. It's usually harder to see flirt on bigger maps because there's so many things happening. You have bookshelves, statues, and all that. But I think like on balcony, which is a map I play a lot, it's really easier, and changing it too much will make it like really easy for the sniper to spot it
Mm,
on like smaller map with one conversation circle. Because on those maps usually it's easier to see who's following who, who's by who when you have one conversation to check.
yeah. Unless uh, the spy gets really lucky and has like two green flirts next to the person.
Yeah. Or the seducer get just exit the conversation and just come right back
Mm,
around, right just near you.
yeah, but I feel like those sort of situations are exceptions to the rule, so
Yeah.
it won't like win you a match having a lucky ST.
You feel like a millionaire when it's happening.
It's like I won the lottery.
Yep. Go buy a ticket. You made
Go buy a
it.
ticket. It's like with odds like these. Cool. All right. Trying to think. So has there been much else that's changed in the game for you since you came back?
Uh, no. Well, let me think. No, well, the new menu
Oh
section
yeah.
thing, that's new.
There's lots of
Uh,
nice little touches to that, like how uh one person can go to the to start the next round and it won't take the other person out of the menu. That's a nice touch.
yeah, I love the option when somebody else start a match and you're still looking at the review, you can either choose to go on that match or say no, decline it, or say, wait a minute, just come back to the review. I want to show you something.
Oh
That's the
wait,
best
really?
option.
I didn't know that. So you can actually bring the other person back to the replay.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
it's
know that.
it's when you're looking and the person is gone to start a match and it's like click escape and the option appear. But I'm never the one playing on the menu. I always wait for the person to start the match. So all I have to do is click escape. So I will always wait on the review. I'm just lazy like that. I will wait on the review so
Mm.
people do the work for me.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I didn't know you could do that. That's a cool feature. It's like someone walking ahead and you're like, no, come back here. I want to show you this thing.
Yes. I was I was playing against a new player and I used it because I was trying to explain to him something and he wouldn't understand. And I think he didn't want to understand. Um, the thing is, keeps stop walking in place where you're not supposed to stop walking. So, like in the middle of nowhere.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to explain to him when an AI walking is the AI will walk from point A to point B without stopping. And I'll just keep telling him like, oh look at 2 minutes 16. What you done? Like come back to the review. I'm gonna show you so you can win. It's like no, I don't care. I'm gonna win the next one. And I'm like okay. And so we played 3 more match I think, and I just beat the shit out of him because obviously he
Yeah.
didn't listen to me.
Oh, that's tricky. Like it. Do you think there's much you can do besides like offering help? It kind of feels like if someone doesn't want to learn, then it's kind
Mm.
of nothing you can really do for them.
No, well at the moment where somebody tell me I don't care, I'm like okay, you don't care. I'm just gonna have free wins on you. Because I tried and you say no to me giving you information, your problem.
Hmm. It's like I was here
Yeah.
to teach you how to not get punched by me, and you want to listen. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll punch you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want these teeth in your head? Most people would want these teeth in their head.
it. Oh no.
Yeah. So wait, you a while back you were saying English is not your first language, French is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the language barrier ever make it tricky when mentoring people, or are you like comfortable enough with English that it's okay?
Well, it make it tricky because spelling is a real problem for me,
Ah,
because the spelling of the words are really different, and so it's not intuitive for me to spell words. There's a lot of words I find myself I know how to say them and know what they mean, but when I'm in front of my keyboard and I have to type them, I just have no idea how to write them, and so I will just be slower to type. So most oftenly, when the person has TeamSpeak, I will say go on TeamSpeak because it's just gonna take too long if I have to write everything.
yeah. Yeah, that's I will say this, English spelling is not intuitive full stop, so
You know, I and the thing is, I come from French, okay, and a little bit of theory here. French is a language with a lot of rules, and everything work between those rules. And there's always exception for the rules, but they are listed, and so everything fit in that nice little tidy box of how to spell things. In English, doesn't work that way. It's like free for all. Everybody do whatever you want. There's letters everywhere, and what I don't understand because I come from a language where
hmm,
everything is like in a tiny little box. But yeah, that's my problem.
yeah.
First world problem.
No, I'm so jealous of your language that your exceptions are even categorized. It's like, my God, I wish our exceptions were categorized. It'd be
I
such a
wish your
long
exception will
box. It would
cut.
be so long.
There's one list in English of exceptions. It's your irregular verb list. And it's so long. It's a long list. I don't even know it by heart. I tried.
Yeah, this is what we get for making a language that's basically just pilferings of other languages. It's just
Well, funny thing, 20% of French and English is the same thing. So most of the time when I see a word, I can kind of guess what it is because often words will be the same. Like information, it's the exact same word in French and in English. Exact same spelling. So anyway,
yeah. No, I
language.
like I might have misheard this, but I heard that like Old English was based on German and modern English is more based on French. Is that true, or did I
Yeah,
mishear that?
well, actually, um, English and German has the same root. They were from Germanic uh, region of Europe, and after that you had like a separation, and you have France in the middle. And when they were kings and queens and all that, uh, English, well, England, the kings from England would speak French because it was the language of the rich
Mm.
and the kings and the queens. So they would speak French, and then you have like a mix of it. So that's why English is the same root as German, but is a lot of French in there.
Wow, cool. Thank you, gun0m, for this history lesson midway through this podcast about a video game.
Yeah, I know stuff. I went to college.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Wait, what are you studying at college, if you don't mind saying to the listeners?
Right now, I'm doing just general classes, and in September, I'm gonna do a graphism program.
Oh, cool.
Before that, I did computer programming, and before that, I did human science, and before that, I did art. So,
Wow, so you've done
yeah,
everything. You've done all
yeah,
the
I know.
degrees.
I don't have any of those degrees. I just have classes. I
Well, you
know.
you you took some of the degree in all of
I,
the
I
things.
took some of the classes, yeah, but
Hmm.
I don't have enough classes to bunched up and make a degree with it
Okay.
yet.
So, like, it is
Well,
your
because when I say college, it's not really college like in the US. It's like another weird thing because Quebec is so special. We have a special scholar system. It's kind college here is kind of university, but it's not. It's weird.
okay. That's interesting.
You
So
look it up
it
on
so
Wikipedia.
yeah. So it's uh is it like you can mix classes more easily? Is that the idea?
Yeah, well, you have your general classes, which is French, first language, English, second language. You have philosophy and uh, physics education, like sport. And those are your general things that you have to do for having your diploma. And all the rest are program based. But if you've done like 2 programs, you can have like half and half of a diploma, which make you like kind of one diploma. And there's programs that are only 2 years and some are 3 years. It's a lot of options.
Wow,
It's
cool.
basically university, but before university.
That sounds really interesting.
It is. It's like it happened because they mixed the English system and the French system
Hmm.
and make a pile of really weird stuff.
Not as weird as the English language, but weird.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
That's cool that sport is a prerequisite. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And it's not like sport, like you just play. They learn you how to make a plan so you can exercise yourself, and they learn you how to eat healthy and be healthy person because yeah, apparently Quebec doesn't want to become fat.
You're making all the American listeners jealous of your awesome sounding school system.
Oh yeah, and it's almost free. Come to Quebec.
Alright, you heard it here first. Or probably not. You heard it here. Everyone go to Quebec if you want a great education.
Yep.
Wow, cool. So before we close out, you were telling me a bit of personal news that you kind of wanted to tell to the Spy Party community. Did you want to talk about that or not?
Oh yes, let's do that.
Cool. All right.
Big announcement.
Big announcement, everyone.
Well, all the thing is I never know how to bring this up. I never know how to.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's do it. This is coming out. Everybody who's listening.
Everybody.
Sit down. It's a big news. I am a man, so a transgender man.
Ta-da! That was the news.
Ta-da! I want little poppers.
So yeah,
But
like,
yeah,
was that something you came to terms with just recently?
well, I had like a good 5 months of reflection recently on myself and multiple issues that I have, and I was trying to just find, like, you always know when you're different and there's something weird about you, that there's something weird about you, but you just don't know what it is. And after reflection, I came out recently with this, with who I am really. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. It's So has it been like up after you told me this, I was thinking about like, is it tricky telling people about this? Do you like obsess over worrying how people will react?
Oh yeah. Well, most of the people I know, I kind of know their position on um, gay people, and usually when you're okay with gay people, there's a certain open-mindedness that that person had that you just assume that transgender person just go with that. So usually I know direction beforehand, like when I told my friends, but it's still a scary thing that you don't know like exactly what they're thinking, what they're gonna think, because it's a thing to say I'm okay with transgender people. It's another thing to say I'm okay with my best friend being a transgender guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's scary, but I just want to be me. So I tell people and I say I hope you accept me. If you don't, well, that's okay. I respect your point of view. Just don't give me shit for it.
Cool. Yeah. No, I hope you don't think this analogy is inappropriate, but I kind of think it's like Spy Party in that you have this rough idea of how someone will react to something in your head, but you never know for sure, and you have to be okay with that you never know for sure what people are thinking or how they'll react to something.
I love that analogy, but yeah, it's just like life. You never know. You never know. You have to go out there and hope for the best. Usually, it's the best.
Yeah,
I know.
you just have to.
I mean, I live in Quebec, like near Montreal, so it's like a big city. So it's usually more open-minded than if I was living in the middle of the countryside or something. Not to be stereotypical, but
Well,
statistic and
yeah,
stuff.
like I'm sure there are exceptions, but that's probably more true than it is false. So yeah. Okay, cool. Was was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we call it?
No, I think we had a good talk.
Cool. Awesome. I'll I'll edit out those bits where the connection dropped
The
for a bit.
internet
So
fucked up. Yeah.
sorry everyone for that. Technical
I'm
difficulties.
sorry. My shitty internet.
You and your dad.
Yeah. It's not even here. It's just the internet in my computer right now freaking
Oh,
out.
okay.
My that's one of the reasons I cannot stream anymore because my computer is kind of dying on me.
Oh
It's
no.
like after like 4 hours of being open, it will just shut itself down and say, "Nope, I'm done for today. Go do something else." Which is kind of a good thing, but not when you're trying to do an interview or something.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is helpful for productivity, but not for conversation.
Yeah, well, you say productivity, but it's not really yet useful when I'm trying to do my homework, and then it just shut down. It was like, I need to do this for tomorrow, please.
It's like, no, you're gonna go out and exercise, or oh, you're gonna go read a book now. It's like, I want to do
Yeah,
my homework.
yeah, I'm
No,
gonna
no,
go
you're
out
not.
exercise at 3 in the morning in Quebec when it's like minus a billion degrees outside. No,
Oh,
thank
jeez.
you.
Yeah, no, I've heard bad things about Canadian winter. My mum was born over there, hated cold weather, and moved to Australia. And so I like have this impression from her of winter in Canada, especially in the snow belt, of being horrible.
Well, it's people. I know people who just hate it here. I actually love it. I like the snow and I like the cold.
But you
And
wouldn't
there's a
run
thing.
in 3 in the morning.
No, I wouldn't run outside. Uh, in the winter, I just go skating. That's only thing I like to do, but no running. It's such, I see people outside in the morning running, doing their morning run, and I don't know how they do that because I would just broke like an ankle a day. I don't know how you can run on slippery ice and just like 3 feet of snow. It's just they're so brave.
Brave or crazy or both?
I think it's sometimes synonym, so you know.
Yeah. On the Venn diagram of the two, I'm sure they overlap a lot.
Just a little.
Yeah, it's just a circle. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, gun0m, for coming onto the show and talking about all your stuff, all the interesting things you have to say. That was
Well,
fun.
thank you for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. All right, and we will talk to everyone and hopefully a different person next week. So thank you very much for listening.